3 50mm lenses, 4 decades of engineering. The Asahi Super Takumar F1.4, the Zeiss Contax F1.4 and the Zeiss CP.2 T1.5. None of the lenses has an autofocus or image stabilization. They are purely manual lenses and therefore well suited for videos. While there are many videos praising the Super Takumar and the Contax as amazing vintage lenses for modern cinematography, it'll be interesting to see how they hold up to the more modern CP2 lens, which was built around 2013. This Super Takumar was built between 1966 and 1971, and this Contax was probably manufactured in the early 90s. With each lens, we make a 20-year leap in time. So let's compare them. Please be aware that the Takumar and the Contax are used with adapters, while the CP2 has an E-mount. The results may vary with different adapters. Let's start with bokeh. All lenses are wide open. The Takumar has beautiful round bokeh in the middle. Getting closer to the edge we can see it's squeezed, but to a degree where I find it nice and appealing. But that's just my taste. Switching to the Contax, we can also see beautiful circles in the middle, a bit more diffused and less sharp however. Getting closer to the edge, there is a similar look as the Takumar, but a bit more round when compared directly. The CP2 is a bit sharper and less diffused, but there are no noticeable differences in the bokeh. When stepping down to f2.8 or T2.8, the Takumar and Contax show hexagon-shaped bokeh, which is not squeezed around the edges. The hexagon shape is there because of the 6 aperture blades of these two lenses. Since the CP2 has 14 and not 6 aperture blades, the bokeh is a lot more round, but you can still see it's not a perfect circle. From f4 to 16, it's basically the same result. Takumar and Contax show the hexagon shape and the CP2 is more circular. Let's stay in this setting for a bit to compare the focus breathing. Here the lenses differ only slightly. All show strong focus breathing. However, the target object, this beautiful old camera, is only about 30 centimeters or 1 foot away from the sensor. It is therefore okay if the lenses breathe a little. The Takumar has the strongest focus breathing, then the Contax follows with a little less, and the CP2 has the least. Next comes vignetting. Here you can see a clear difference between the Takumar and the two Zeiss lenses when they're wide open. While the Takumar has visibly darker corners, the Contax and the CP2 seem to be more balanced. At f2 they all have less vignetting, but it's still the same pattern. At f4 they all look very good and vignetting is nearly gone. But have you noticed another difference between these three lenses? Just look at the difference in tint. While the CP2 has a pretty neutral, a bit cold balanced tint, the Super Takumar clearly shifts into a green area, and now to go into a completely different direction, this is the Contax. It creates a very warm picture and is more on the magenta side. Just for you to see it with your own eyes, here's all of them side by side. Let's take these lenses outside and pan them into direct sunlight to compare the flaring and contrast. The Takumar at f11 has a strong, warm, orange-colored tone and sometimes strong flares in purple or magenta. A lot of contrast is lost here. The Contax shows a much more controlled behavior, more contrast and less flaring. The CP2 is even better with the best contrast, probably because of the special Zeiss coating, which is known for doing just that, maintaining the maximum contrast. Let's open them up again to compare the sharpness. Starting with the Takumar, we have a pretty sharp image. It shows a little bit of softness, but it's fine at f1.4. The Contax, however, is just soft, not sharp at all. Maybe this is a faulty piece or the adapter is the issue here, I don't know. If you own one, I'd really love to see your input on this in the comments. Moving on to the CP2, it's sharp, but it's actually less sharp than the Takumar. Here's all of them side by side. At f2.8, all of them become a little sharper, with the Contax still being the softest. At f4, however, we can finally see all of them nearly on the same level. Now I want to give you a brief summary of some facts about the appearance of the lenses. First of all, build quality. All three lenses are made of metal and feel solid. The focus throw. Takumar around 200 degrees, Contax also around 200 degrees, CP2 around 280 degrees. Focusing feels smooth with the right amount of resistance. Aperture. The values for the Takumar and the Contax can be seen at the top. With the Takumar, the values are arranged from right to left. With the Contax, it is exactly the opposite direction. With the CP2, the aperture values are on the side, as is usual with a film lens. In contrast to the Takumar and the Contax, the aperture values can be set freely, so no hard stops. But this also brings me to the, in my opinion, biggest weakness of the CP2. I know this is actually a fact-based video without judging the lenses, but I just have to mention this point because it annoys me so much. The aperturing on the CP2 is so smooth that the values can change if it's touched just the slightest bit. I mean, look at this. It feels like even a stronger wind would change my aperture. It's just extremely annoying. If you know the problem or a simple solution for this problem, please feel free to share it in the comments. But enough facts and theory and lens aperture shaming for now. Have fun watching my sample footage. This was Robin Seifert. Thanks for watching.